Well, at Marlboro, you really have the luxury of time, so we could start our work very slowly and little by little find our group sound, understand how the piece is functioning, all of the details. But beyond that, we also spent a lot of time trying to be present with the history and the context in which this piece was written, through reading, having discussions with one another. We played for Ignat Solzhenitsyn, who has a very close relationship with Shostakovich as a composer. And when we knew that we would play this piece for the public, it's a piece that has such a potent message and can be such a profound experience for the listeners. So it was really just a question of focusing our energy, trying to be very present with the depth of this work in a way that we could communicate that to people in the hall. Well, I would say one of the biggest elements of this piece, and perhaps the most important one, is to capture the kind of focus that you need to create this through line from the first note to the last. It demands a great deal of focus and also, of course, awareness of all of the details in the score, but in a way that they've integrated themselves to the point where you can almost let the piece possess you, and trust it enough to take you over and guide the group from beginning to end. Well, the Britten and the Mendelssohn were both written when the composers were teenagers, and I do feel like there's a sense of playfulness and definitely a sense of wonder that exists in both of these pieces. When it comes to the Shostakovich and the Mendelssohn, it's a very interesting pairing because they almost feel like each other's antithesis. In my opinion, with the effect that the Shostakovich can have, it's actually quite hard to hear other music after that piece because it's so intense. But the Mendelssohn contains this feeling of optimism, of tenderness, and sort of open-eyed appreciation for life and gratitude that becomes even more striking when offset by the Shostakovich. So I think it's through this opposition, in a way, both pieces are able to speak in an even more potent way. I would compare the Mendelssohn maybe to like an opal, whereas the Shostakovich is like diamond dust. And perhaps the message of the program in a way is that these two contrasting elements are always, opposites are always present in life. You can't have one thing without the other. And so I hope that the audiences will enjoy that aspect of this combination. For me, it was really the accumulation of so many different experiences and encounters with people, pieces of music, and all of the friendships that resulted from it. I remember a few months after going to Marlboro for the first time, I was in a rehearsal and I had the epiphany that I was definitely not the same musician that I was before I had gone to the festival. And I think a lot of this growth happened in a very subconscious way, in this transformation that one goes through being in a place and being able to kind of forget about the outside world, to each day try to play more beautifully, try to reach your absolute potential with all of the different pieces that you're playing, and that's very transformational. So it kind of makes you a better musician without you realizing it. Honestly, it's really hard to choose a favorite. There are a few groups that come to mind, like the Bartók Third String Quartet with Kobe Malkin, Lucy Chapman, and Kim Kashkashian. This was a group that sort of really taught me a lot about what Marlboro can be, where you have a very, very intense process together, but the potential for all of that intensity to be funneled into the performance and make something really, really special. I also really cherished the time that I spent in my first summer on Beethoven's Opus 70 No. 2 trio with Mitsuko Chida and Stephanie Zizak. that was really a beautiful, beautiful process and performance, and that's something I look back on with a lot of gratitude. This is a very special cello which was built in the 18th century, and its previous player was Antonio Yanigro, who was one of the greatest cellists of the 20th century. And it's a very special instrument to me because the son of Antonio Yanigro loans me this cello, and so it's very much in the family, so to speak, and I consider it a great honor to be part of this instrument's legacy. It has a really wonderful sound, and I've been playing on it for around 8 years, and so I think we get along pretty well. Many, many hours of Britten, Mendelssohn, and Shostakovich rehearsals, currently a drummer on the streets of Philadelphia and a violist practicing orchestral excerpts next door.